sonnets. And who did you identify with? Did you identify with the boy or with the poet?
Well, I don't know. It's so hard. I'm a bit of all of them, you know. I've got a bit of the beautiful boy, a bit of the genius poet, a little bit of the dark lady, at a certain angle.
Yeah?
I guess I'm the genius poet.
Okay. I thought you would say the beautiful boy, but...
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Thanks a lot.
You said I was a beautiful boy. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, I think we have to go now. Also er hat gesagt, dass er sich, als er die Shakespeare-Gedichte vertont hat, sowohl mit dem Dichter als auch mit dem Jungen, der in diesen Gedichten teilweise oder in diesen Sonetten teilweise quasi angebetet wird und beschrieben wird, identifiziert hat. Und er sei eigentlich alle Personen, die in diesen Gedichten vorkommen, auch irgendwie selbst. Nun heißt sein neues Album ja All Days Are Nights, Songs for Lulu. Und All Days Are Nights kann man noch identifizieren, das ist aus einem Shakespeare-Sonett. Songs for Lulu dagegen ist ein bisschen rätselhaft. Und jetzt werde ich ihn mal versuchen zu fragen, was es damit auf sich hat. So, you called your album All Days Are Nights, which is a Shakespeare quote, and then the second part of the album is Songs for Lulu. Maybe you can explain what that means.
The all days are night. I mean, the Songs for Lulu section. Yeah, no, that's. Well, my Lulu is Louise Brooks from Pandora's Box, and she has always been a perfect representation of all that we love to hate and hate to love in, you know, a destructive femme fatale, and it really, I mean, but that doesn't mean that, but Lulu, I think, can be anybody who they choose, and it's just that sort of patron saint of disaster, who now that I've gotten a little older, I have to be careful of, and I can admire, but only really from afar, you know, if I want to keep doing what I'm doing. So in a way, the Songs for Lulu refers to a kind of sacrifice that these songs are. They're a sort of offering to that goddess, Louise Brooks, who's also, you know, it's a very Berlin thing. I don't know if they shot that here, but it's certainly a very German thing. So yeah, it's a desperate sacrifice to the devil. Okay.
Ja, also er hat gesagt, dass Songs for Lulu, die Lulu ist Louise Brooks aus dem Film Die Büchse der Pandora, in dem sie mitgespielt hat, also wahrscheinlich auf Wedekind basierend, nehme ich mal an. Schwarz-Weiß-Film 1929, glaube ich. Und sie ist für ihn so eine Art Schutzheilige für, sagen wir mal, sowas wie Schicksalhaftigkeit, Desaster, Selbstzerstörung. Und das ist was er in seiner früheren Jugend und auch so bis in die späten 20er hinein selbst teilweise betrieben hat, aber er meint, er müsse davon Abstand nehmen, um sowas wie Kunst noch neu schaffen zu können. Do you think that like art always has to be about this kind of fighting your demons and stuff like that, or is that a cliche?
Well, I mean, when you're really fighting your demons, there's nothing cliche about it, you know?
Okay.
When it's really happening, and I mean, it's easy from the outside to look at it that way, but the reality is so much more intense, and certainly, you know, I would argue that this album is probably one of my best albums, and it also coincides with, you know, the most difficult period of my life, with the death of my mother, and you can't help but draw a correlation between suffering and artistry. I mean, I wish it wasn't the case, but there is, you know, it just it happens that way. In fact, there's a very funny story where I did the show in Paris, and afterwards, the next day, I went to hang out with Marianne Faithfull in her beautiful Parisian apartment, and we were sitting there, and she loved the show very much. And then she said to me, I know what I've got to do for my next show. I'm going to pretend that something terrible happened to me. And then I'm going to make everybody quiet, and I'm going to, whatever. But her whole thing was that she was like, I must pretend that something terrible has happened to me, which is hilarious that Marianne Faithfull is saying that. But I'm like, honey, you don't have to pretend. But whatever. So, but there is, you know, when something really terrible happens, it's probably good that you write about it, because it'll probably be interesting.
Okay. Es ging nochmal darum, das alte Klischee, Künstler müssen leiden, es geht darum, Dämonen zu bekämpfen in der Kunst. Und Rufus sagt, wenn man es selbst tut, diese Dämonen in der Kunst zu bekämpfen, dann hat es überhaupt nichts mehr von dem Klischee. Er selbst hat davon erzählt, dass seine Mutter schwer erkrankt war an Krebs und sie ist im Januar diesen Jahres gestorben, die Folksängerin Kate McGarrigle. Und dass das sich natürlich auch in seinen Songs wiedergespiegelt hat und dass deswegen dieses Album in einer sehr, sehr schweren Phase in seinem Leben entstanden ist und aber zugleich vielleicht dadurch auch eins seiner besten Alben bisher geworden ist. Ja, ich denke, das dürfte als Erklärung reichen. On this album there's also like 3 of the sonnets you did for the Robert Wilson show. And there's a song which is from your opera. You wrote your first opera called Prima Donna. Why did you choose to include these songs on this album?
Well, for one thing, the sonnets, the Shakespeare sonnets I consider to be, well, they possibly the greatest things ever written. You know, there's an argument for that. The greatest piece of literature ever, and at least in my life and experience, they had such an impact on me that I had to put them into my daily life. I mean, I had to include them in my language, you know. So if I didn't have any of them in this record, it would be I wouldn't be telling the truth about the new me, because after reading those sonnets and really studying them, it's you do change. So that's sort of why I put them in there. The other thing is, I mean, for instance, I was doing a show the other night, and I cry sometimes at certain parts of the show for different reasons. And the other night I was doing it, and I started singing one of the sonnets, and I just started weeping because just the words are so beautiful. I mean, they're so high, so much higher than anything that I could ever do, or I think many people. So that they're just a part of my life now. Now, Prima Donna, the aria from that is you know, I don't know. I mean, it's just a very beautiful song, and I don't know. I you know, that character has now become a big part of my life. The woman who that is, and whether it's, you know, the Dark Lady, my mother, Prima Donna, Lulu. I mean, this album is just sort of inhabited by many women. So Prima Donna is just another one of them too.
Okay.
Good luck.
Oh, that's wow.